Hi guys, I'm excited to announce that I'm a new ambassador of KiwiBet Uganda. KiwiBet is a new betting and gaming platform in Uganda. It allows you to place bets on all your favorite games: football, tennis, basketball, and most importantly, the Premier League. Welcome back to the Kosi Arsenal podcast. My name is Kosi. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is the latest Arsenal news and transfer news as well. The transfer window is coming to an end. We only have 3 days to the end of the window, and Arsenal are really in for drama. First and foremost, Arsenal are still willing to trigger the release clause of Nico Williams, according to Graham Bailey. However, the player is yet to show interest in leaving Spain this late. We are also going to be talking about Kingsley Coman, Raheem Sterling. We'll talk about Ivan Toney. Surprisingly, are you surprised? Yes, I am surprised. And then the general picture of the transfer window. What are Arsenal trying to do, and how does that affect Chelsea, Man United, and a couple of other clubs? One thing I want to say is you might see a goalkeeper and a winger or a forward player before the window closes. If Arsenal sign 2 more players before the window closes, despite the fact that we started off a little bit slowly, this will be a perfect window. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Mikel Merino is a done deal. Shot number 23, 32.5 million euros plus 5 in add-ons. Arsenal have announced that. So what are we looking to do in the last 72 hours of this window? Let's start off with Raheem Sterling, which Arsenal have been linked with, or who Arsenal have been linked with for quite some time now. However, Manchester United and Chelsea are in negotiations for Raheem Sterling and Jadon Sancho. So Chelsea, surprisingly in this case, they want to sign Jadon Sancho from Manchester United, and Sterling would go to Man United. It's like a kind of a deal where 2 clubs are swapping unwanted players, unwelcome players at their stadiums just to annoy their fans. Honestly, Arsenal have been there, but I don't think Arsenal are willing to go toe to toe with Manchester United or with anyone for Raheem Sterling. I think we would only take him if it's a market opportunity. And I'm talking if Arsenal can get him for 20 million euros, then he slashes his wage expectations to maybe 250,000, maybe 200,000 per week. I think that's where Arsenal could go and do the deal. But if it involves competing with Manchester United, competing with another player, I don't think Arsenal are really going to be fighting for Raheem Sterling as a player. Now, it's a deal I would do if Arsenal didn't have any other options. But according to the list I have here, it looks like Coman is there. It looks like Ivan Toney is there. It looks like we're still looking at another player in Nico Williams. I don't think that Raheem Sterling would be my priority, but not a bad signing in the last 72 hours of the window. I want your clear thoughts on Raheem Sterling. Do you think Arsenal should push and get him out of Chelsea? I kind of feel like he's a flop. And can he resuscitate his career? Well, probably can. Those things really happen at sometimes. But I would say if you're Arsenal and you can go and get a player like Simeon Adingra, if you can Arsenal and you can go and do a deal for a much younger winger, I think that would be much better. Now, if you asked me between Jadon Sancho and Raheem Sterling, who would I take? I don't know. I mean, serious flops. Jadon Sancho is the one that has a big point to prove. I think with Raheem Sterling, as a player, he's achieved it. He's got it all during his Manchester City days. He's got the love at Liverpool during his Liverpool days. I don't think he will get much love at Arsenal. I don't think he's got any love from Manchester City and Chelsea. So probably he's looking for that place where he's going to be loved as a player, reminiscent of the Liverpool days. But I just don't see it happen. Although Arsenal are desperate for a forward player, after selling Edin Ketia, the plan is to bring in another forward player. It doesn't look like it's going to be Raheem Sterling, especially if Man United and Chelsea are trying to do a nonsense deal. Arsenal will want no part in that deal. Now, Reiss Nelson, today it has been confirmed that he's one of the players that are very likely to stay at Arsenal for another year, as no club is interested in taking him. This is what Mikel Arteta and Edu have done. They have given him 120,000 per week, and they thought they would sell him for 20 million. Like, honestly, with Edin Ketia, a club can sign Edin Ketia because he's played for 5 consecutive seasons and the guy has scored some goals: 5 goals, 10 goals, 9 goals. But with Reiss Nelson, where do Arsenal get the audacity to give him 120,000 a week and then ask for £20 million plus add-ons, around £22 million, from this guy. Where exactly do they see the value in Reiss Nelson? So Reiss Nelson is likely to stay, and I hope this really doesn't change the mind of Arteta and Edu regarding bringing in a new forward player. I mean, we might hear that because he's staying, Arsenal are now planning to keep him and sign no one. But of course, at the moment, Arsenal are still pushing to sign a new forward. Let's talk about Ivan Toney, because it has been revealed that Chelsea and Arsenal are going punch for punch. They're going blows to sign Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney, a week ago, was left out of the Brentford squad that actually played, was it their first game? Yeah, because their second game was Liverpool. But their first game, he was left out of their squad because there was a feeling he was going to go to Saudi Arabia and the deal was very close. Now, according to close sources to Ivan Toney was informed that Arsenal are interested in getting him, but Mikel Merino was supposed to get out of the way first. So Ivan Toney changed his mind from going to Saudi Arabia because Arsenal are interested. Now, this evening, Chelsea have placed a bid for Ivan Toney. It is believed that they could sign him for around 50 million euros, and Arsenal have to match that if they're going to take Ivan Toney. Interesting climax, interesting, displays to the end of the window. Will Arsenal go in for Ivan Toney? Now, if Arsenal get Ivan Toney, icing on the cake. That would be an icing on the cake. I tell you, I do like Ivan Toney as a player. I think he's got things this Arsenal team doesn't get. You know the way we say Watkins at Villa, Haaland at City, Salah at Liverpool. I think that I'm looking at Ivan Toney as that guy. I'm looking at him as that player that everyone would say Tony at Arsenal. And yes, slowly but surely, he would come in, start on the bench, maybe 10 games, maybe 15 games. But I assure you, if he starts starting games, if he gets ahead of Kai Havertz in the starting 11, 100% he would be an Arsenal starter through and through. This is a deal for me that would make a lot of sense in the dying days of the window. One, Brentford have informed Toney that we are not going to let you stay if you're not going to sign a new deal because we don't want you to lose you on a free. And therefore, they agreed a 50 million euro deal with a Saudi Arabian Pro League club to take Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney said, give me some time. I'm not going to Saudi Arabia. I'm hearing that Arsenal want me. So Toney is keen on an Arsenal move. At the same time, Chelsea are knocking on the door. So listen, him wanting Arsenal doesn't mean that he can't go to Chelsea. We have seen Moises Caicedo, typing, I want to go to Arsenal. Let me go Brighton. And then, in the summer he says, I've always wanted to play for Chelsea and no other club. And I was like, wait a moment, what's going on here? So Ivan Toney can still go to Chelsea. But Arsenal have two massive opportunities to sign two massive strikers this summer. And I remember saying this, that the asking price for Ivan Toney would come down. They were asking for 70 million euros, 60 million euros. And I told them, you're not going to get 60 million euros on a guy that has been on betting, suspension for quite some time. You're not going to get that money. All you can do right now is, listen to offers. If an offer is good, if an offer is, around what, maybe, 50 million euros, you go for that offer. That is already good enough. And I think, Brentford have listened. They have really, really listened. 50 million euros for Ivan Toney is an absolute steal. Now, is a Premier League team going to give them 50 million euros? We wait to see, right? But I could see him go to Chelsea at around 45. I can see him join Arsenal at around 40 million euros. Again, that is still very, very good business. Ivan Toney's age and Mikel Merino's age, the same. If you can agree a deal that is similar to Mikel Merino, Ivan Toney would even bring more value to this Arsenal team than Mikel Merino. Why? Because what we are looking at right now and what we are looking for is a striker that I'm not really a striker. I mean, I really don't mind if it's a winger, if it's a midfielder. I really don't mind. But what we are looking for is a player that can come in and score regular important goals, right? 1-0, 2-1, 2-0, 3-2. That guy that can always find a way. He always found a way for Brentford last season but one, and that's why Arsenal were really interested. That's why Chelsea were really interested, and a couple of other clubs. United have been there. And that tells you that even top level clubs, all the top level clubs, are looking at him as a guy they would take. And I think Tony would walk into many of the top level sides. I mean, listen, I could be deluded about this. I could be wrong about it. But I'm just thinking, which team really can you say that Ivan Toney doesn't get into? I don't see any. Which team do you say that Tony cannot find, a way? I mean, after losing Alvarez, he would be the new Julian Alvarez at City. Liverpool, second to Jota, maybe. Could be at Jota's level, but maybe second to Jota under Arne Slot. Arsenal, he's a starter. Chelsea, Nicholas Jackson, no, he's a starter. Villa, I mean, is he better than Watkins? I'm not sure. So, two massive opportunities for Arsenal to open their eyes. You have Osimhen at 65 million euros available. You also have, Ivan Toney at 40 million euros to 50 million euros available as well. If we can't do any of those two, then Arsenal have themselves to blame. We cannot blame anyone else. Really, we really, really can't blame anyone else. It's us to blame. It's ourselves to blame. Now, among the other names that we're looking at, Kingsley Coman has one of the players that are having a very interesting future. A Saudi Arabian Pro League club has made an attempt to sign him. They have made a bid to sign him. However, the player has not yet decided. Premier League clubs are open. They're pushing. And is Arsenal among the Premier League clubs? We were told that Kingsley Coman to Arsenal was a possibility. And when I ask myself, which Premier League clubs are really looking to sign a winger? Chelsea, no. Liverpool, they're getting Chiesa, unless they want to. But I think they will be getting Chiesa, right? So, Tottenham Hotspur, would they go for Kingsley Coman? Yeah, they would. I think they would. I mean, they're under onslaught, and I think they would. Villa, maybe to replace Moussa Diaby, maybe Villa as well. But I think Arsenal are strongly, if you think about Kingsley Coman and Premier League interest, Arsenal should be there. I mean, why not? He's experienced. He's a player on the move. Bayern have already made their decision. He can go if anyone can bring in the money they want. So Kingsley Coman want to watch this week, according to Fabrizio, but nothing really, really on the table from Arsenal. Now, your boys, Atletico Bilbao might be in for a shocker, and Arsenal might be in for a late surprise. For Atletico Bilbao. How? Atletico Bilbao believe that Nico Williams is going to stay. The player has not given them any indication that he wants to leave or that he is going to leave this summer. However, Arsenal are willing to trigger the release clause of the boy. And remember that it's just 58 million euros. 58 million euros is very close to the release clause of Thomas Partey, way back in 2020 when we signed him. That is number one. And secondly, Arsenal have done it before. We have wanted a player for a whole summer, and we have, in the end, we just went, you know what? Let's go and trigger the release clause of this guy. Let's not waste any more time. Let's trigger the release clause. Let's get the deal done. So I want to say this, right? If Nico Williams is open to joining Arsenal, if Williams is open to signing for Arsenal, I'm going to say it's going to happen, guys. I'm going to say it's going to happen. Because what is the one thing standing between Nico Williams and an Arsenal move? I tell you, it is Nico Williams and the love and respect he has for Atletico Bilbao. If it was a player like Moises Caicedo, I don't mean Moises Caicedo doesn't have love for Brighton. Obviously, didn't have love for Brighton. And I don't think his work ethic is as of Nico Williams or a player like Martin Zubimendi. But if he's willing to break his loyalty to Atletico Bilbao, Arsenal are going to get Nico Williams this summer. 58.8 million euros after Arsenal making sure that whatever we have spent, we have already brought back by selling players, which means we have the money lying there. I mean, the problem with this deal is that you cannot amortize it, right? It's a release clause that has to be paid once. So you cannot, there is nothing like amortization. And maybe the wages as well. He's earning 200. He would want more than 200 when he comes into Arsenal. Maybe, I mean, that would be the problem. But at the moment, Nico Williams, keep your eyes on this guy. Keep your eyes on this deal. It might just happen. So in the end, if I was to give you what I think of this window, I think Arsenal are going to go for, let's say, one more. How do you say, guys? I think let's say one more. Let's say one more. One more, and if Ramsdale leaves, because two clubs are in for him now, then a goalkeeper. One more outfield player, and then one more goalkeeper. We knew that Arsenal were going to send a goalkeeper, but it always depended on Ramsdale and his future and how he was, whether he was going to leave Arsenal or not. So let's see, wait and see.